Question is that the motion be agreed to, and I call the member for Goldstein.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And I'd like to start on my sort of reflections on this motion to say that no one's disputing that there are problems sometimes where private citizens who have done legitimate work have not had their superannuation policies honoured, and that measures that should be appropriately taken to make sure that they're properly paid is something that I think the spirit of everybody in this chamber would share. In fact, and I say that a couple of months ago, somebody from the superannuation sector came around and showed me some data around unclaimed superannuation in different electorates by electorate, and mine was one of the lowest in the country, and that equally most of the superannuation benefits that should have been paid to employees within the Goldstein community, which is wonderful. But I know that isn't the circumstance everywhere, and that's why legitimate efforts to try and address some of these issues is very important, particularly though in the context of making sure that we have a system that people have confidence in, because when it comes down to it, people who have superannuation, not as only just something that obviously provides security for people later in life, and nobody, I think, would dispute that, but it's important to make sure that it's paid at a stage as people go along so that they can manage their affairs, because the decisions made today around superannuation can have a big impact in people's material conditions at latter stages in life. In fact, one of the things that regularly gets raised with me is that people don't really think about their superannuation until they're over the age of 50. If there's any advice I want to give to anyone watching this, kind of under the age of 35 or at least under the age of 50, is you should take your superannuation seriously now. On top of a principal place of residence, if you're able to get it, it's probably going to be the biggest asset you're going to have, and the biggest opportunity you're going to have around making sure you can retire with confidence. So take it seriously, make sure you get every cent that is available to you legally and that you have earned, but in addition to that, make conscious decisions about how it's to be invested, and that's where perhaps some members within this place will end up in slightly more diverse opinions between different types of funds. I'm somebody who's taken maximum control of my superannuation, but I recognise that other people would like to take less control and rely on the faith and goodwill of others. That's their call. So in short though, the spirit of this motion I don't think broadly people would disagree with, but the detail of it, the government already has a very clear package of reforms to safeguard and modernise the superannuation guarantee from the start of the next financial year. And I think that better appropriately and proportionally represents and addresses the issues for now. But that doesn't mean that the spirit of the measure that's being put forward is wrong. I think it acknowledges some of the concerns that many members have that's come out of Senate processes and parliamentary processes, and to make sure that in introducing this bit of legislation that has come and gone, that there may be future amendments needed in the future. But that has to be done through proper processes around making sure it's proportionate and recognised by the government and with a higher degree of confidence than currently exists. So in conclusion, my commentary on this motion, this proposition, is firstly to welcome it from the member for Indi and her contribution on this issue as well as many others, to recognise the efforts that the government has already made, and to really, in reflection, say that it's something that I continue to think about and will continue to consider as part of what we need to do to deliver the type of security and confidence people need for their future retirement. That includes myself, that includes everybody in this room. In fact, I don't think there's anybody left under the old super scheme, so no, we all have to think about it and to continue the dialogue into the future.